Good morning, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project Magnetic Reversal News in Shinrin-yoku, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Sunday, June 20th, noontime, mountain time, 2021. You're looking at a tale of two extremes, hot and cold. As you were told years ago, when the jet stream breaks down, we're going to have extreme weather. Extreme cold followed by extreme heat, and so on and so forth. But the big story, high winds, tornadoes, and drenching rain reported as Tropical Depression Claudette batters parts of the Gulf Coast. Whew. Keep calm, it's boom time. Tropical Storm Claudette has weakened into a tropical depression, but continues to batter parts of Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, and Florida Panhandle with high winds on Saturday, tearing off roofs of houses and flipping an 18-wheeler and mobile home. Multiple tornadoes have been reported from the storm. After weakening to a tropical depression Saturday, Claudette is expected to become a tropical storm again when it moves across the Carolinas Sunday night into Monday. Claudette made rainfall in southeast Louisiana just before 7 a.m. Saturday as heavy rains and tropical storm force winds at least 39 miles per hour continued along parts of the northern Gulf Coast. Whew. And thankfully, it is weakening, but still drenching the southeast like a beast. What was Tropical Storm Claudette has now become Tropical Depression, but still dumping heavy rain as it pushed into the southeast Saturday evening. And we'll be checking up on that in just a moment. Live weather updates, lightning, hail, and down power lines reported across the Front Range and Eastern Plains. 10 dead, including 9 children, in a car crash in Alabama, blamed on the storm. 10 people, including 9 children, were killed in a 2-vehicle crash. The tropical storm has led to flash flooding, spurring tornadoes across the southeast, and in this case, some hydroplaning, unfortunately. Friday's storm brings unusually large hail. We reported the Minnesota hail. Now this is the central Indiana hail. Take a look at that. Put your helmets on. Evacuations ordered for wildfire that grows to 4,300 acres in Oregon. Warm Springs. Firefighters are battling a wildfire that has grown to 4,300 acres on Saturday evening on the north side of Warm Springs Reservation. The S503 fire has prompted a level 3 go now evacuation for anyone living along Foreman's Point in Pine Grove. So heads up, Oregonians in that region. Multiple wildfires burning in Colorado as conditions remain hot and dry. 18 fires started in the Ute Reservation just this weekend, which have all been contained, thankfully. And if you're looking for more information, I'll leave you links below. Florida braces for another Sahara dust storm. We've talked about these in the past. 10 days ago, NASA satellites spotted a massive dust storm blowing off the Sahara Desert and into the waters of the Atlantic Basin. At the time, we forecasted dust clouds were headed to the Americas. And here is the jiffy. Sahara dust has been on the move across the Atlantic for the past few weeks. So far, no clouds thick enough to make it to Texas, the nexus of the Schmexis, before dissipating. And it looks like we are going to get some dust in the southeast here. Georgia, looks like Georgia and Florida definitely going to be the hardest hit there with the dusts. And this will be happening now. Take a look at that. Big plumes coming off of the African continent there. So heads up in those regions for dust alerts. Claudette impacts the southeast. Severe thunderstorm Sunday. A heat wave persists in the west. Whew. Heavy rainfall from Claudette may bring additional flash, urban, and small stream flooding from Georgia into the Carolinas on Sunday. Not a fun day. Those are the green zones. Scattered severe thunderstorms may occur Sunday across parts of the Midwest into the Great Lakes and Ohio. The dangerous and record-breaking heat and the critical fire weather conditions will continue in much of the Southwest, with red flag warnings up and extreme heat warnings everywhere. Now, Scott-based crew enduring near record-breaking Antarctic winter. On the other side, the other hemi, it's minus 10 C colder than usual in Antarctica. Not a peep coming from them. Now, interesting what's setting up here, what I talked about early in the beginning of the podcast here, is this huge cold plume moving down, which is literally going to split the country into extreme heat to the left of the Continental Divide and extreme below normal to the east. And this is happening on the 22nd and the 23rd. The Northeast is going to be chilling. The entire country on the 23rd will be split in two. Extreme heat with some patches of below normal cold, very bizarre, and the entire other half below normal. We're talking 12 degrees below normal in the east, 12 degrees above normal in the northwest. This is due to the meridional flow, the breakdown of the jet stream we've been talking about for years. Here's the real temps. As you can see that cool plume moving in there in the green. But what's interesting is that there's going to be a heat wave that moves up into the Dakotas for a day after it's cooled down. Look at that, 100 degrees on the 24th. And then it comes back again after a cooling period. It's very interesting to look at the models here. Hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. Just as predicted. Seismic update, no quakes to note. We do have a quite deep 5.4 in Mexico. Could be considered a blot echo, and we should be looking for larger activity in this region. So heads up there. Pretty quiet worldwide, seismically. Worldwide volcano news update. All's quiet on the Western Front. We do have a paroxysm 24 hours ago coming from Etna once again to 20,000 feet here. But standard activity. Nothing off the charts here in Iceland where the Fagradalsfjall volcano continues to erupt. Very little seismic activity there as well. Global Climate Report May 2021 coming out. Links below to all the information on us burning up. Not really. And what you'll find here is quite interesting if you start to look at some of the maps here as far as temperature here for May. It was exceptionally warm up in the northeast, but not so much in the center of the country, below normal for May. Hey. And as far as precipitation worldwide, it's quite interesting to take a look at that. Some areas had extremely above normal precipitation, especially in south central U.S. there. So interesting information coming out from that, and I will leave you links below to peruse it. Now, the Earth has a pulse, 27.5 million years. Can you feel it? Now, this isn't really science, but I guess you can call it science. It's statistical analysis, and they did some statistical analysis. Hey, how's everybody doing? Analysis, in fact, of 260 million years of major geologic events, and they were finding recurring clusters at 27.5 million years. Now, what they put in these major events are things like mass extinctions. I don't know what else they put in there. Here. Volcanic activity, mass extinctions on land and sea, and major geologic events. And what they got is a graph, and there it is. But you can see here the number of geologic events through time. I don't know. I don't know if I see much of a cycle. But what I do see is two big spikes here, about 200 million years apart. We do know that we go through the spiral arms of our galaxy. We pass through them about every 100 million years. So we might be seeing that cycle. Might be. But it's anyone's guess when graphs are a matter of life and death, as they were back in the 17 and 1800s. Fascinating. Pie charts and scatter plots seem like ordinary tools, but they revolutionized the way we solve problems. And here you're looking at an amazing graph, which is very telling. It's from about 1780 to 1820, and it has data points like bread prices and the price of grain here, the price of a quarter of wheat, the price of stocks through time. So I'm going to do a podcast on how we can relate this to changes in the climate back during the Dalton minimum here when wheat was spiking in 1813 and 1801. What was going on with the weather? Should be a fascinating podcast. Stay tuned for that. Now, a little levity. Narrow Mountain Pass closed after delivery truck gets stuck here in Colorado up in Ophir Pass. What a... Look at this guy. Wait till you see the road he was on. There he is. Ophir Pass. Goes up to over 12,000 feet, I believe. And if you have an old carburetor, your vehicle just stops somewhere around 11.5. So take a look at that. Darwin Award today for this delivery driver, probably using his TomTom to get there on time. How'd that work out? Top Chinese counterintelligence officials reportedly defected to the U.S., provided intel on Wuhan lab and China's bioweapons program. This is the tippy top, the highest defecting official ever in the history of China. So read the article if it interests you. Brain scans of C virus patients suggest significant gray matter loss over time. And this is in a portion of the brain that controls your sense of smell and taste. Very interesting study there. I'll leave you links below. Comedian Jimmy Dore, what a bore, is having bad side effects after being jabbed with the Wu flu poison. Who'd have thunk it? He was probably promoting it. Now, we did an excellent video on the USS Gerald Ford, completing its first full ship shock trial event, which was recorded as a 3.9 magnitude earthquake off the coast of Ponce Inlet in Florida. Go check it out. And archaeologists are also investigating the mystery of graves reopened 1,400 years ago. There is an entire time frame on Earth around 7th, 8th century, I believe, when people used to dig up the graves of buried people and take trinkets out. Now, at one point, they were considering these grave robbers, but it was just a particular time in the past, and it was for ceremonial reasons, they believe, because they didn't take all the items. Only very specific items like swords and other things were taken, while other valuables were left. So interesting breakthrough there on the grave robbing phenomena that might not be grave robbing at all. Imagine that. New NASA study, Earth has been trapping heat at an alarming new rate. Just put up a 4-minute video. It's worth a watch. And the rebuttal by myself and Roy Spencer. When I first read it, I was like, what? A third of a what? Okay, so anyway, we could sum it up here in Roy Spencer's blog at the end here, where he says, what bothers me is the alarmist language attached to such a tiny number, and to the likelihood that no one will bother to mention the authors attribute part of the change to natural climate cycles. Hello. Thank you, Roy. Massive icebergs once made epic treks all the way from Canada to Florida. And these are the scrape marks on the bottom of the ocean floor. I'm going to be doing a podcast on this in a day or so stay tuned for that. Deep below the ocean's waves, ancient tracks left by long, hidden, migrating, giant icebergs, we're talking 1,000-foot thick, made their imprints on the seafloor, all the way to Florida. And these events happen to coincide with our cosmic catastrophe clock and the flexure point we're on now, called Heinrich events. And a lot of these scrapes date back 31,000 years ago to Heinrich event number 3. So stay tuned for that podcast, when we'll blow your mind as giant chunks of ice scrape the ocean floor. No, they're not highways. Facts and benefits of sweet clover. We just did a podcast yesterday on sweet clover, on lamb's quarter, and on alfalfa. Their benefits, medicinal and culinary. And I'll leave you links to this because sweet clover has so many uses, including for people with insomnia. You just chop up the flour, boil it in some water for 5 to 10 minutes, and drink the tea. Get the tea. That's boom to knowledge. Proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance in a dystopian world where facts are fiction and fiction are facts. Whew. How can you separate it all? Well, you can tune into the Oppenheimer Ranch Project podcast. Thanks to all our one-time donors, our Patreons, the heroes that share this video. We love you, each and every one of you. Be safe, and that's a boom to knowledge. Click on one of the other boxes to gain more of it. We'll see you soon.